So it's dim sum time again, and today we are going to be making the Lotus wrapped glutinous sticky rice. I'm sure that you guys are all really familiar with this dim sum. It's essentially sticky rice that is perfumed by the lotus leaf that you wrap around it. And there's like fillings like mushrooms and chicken, which we found nice substitutes for. So on the surface, this dim sum dish might seem a little bit complicated, but I've actually divided it into really easy to follow steps. So it's actually quite a simple recipe. So I can't wait to show you guys this recipe. So let's head over to the kitchen and then let's get started. Okay guys, so we're gonna start off with soaking the lotus leaves first. So these are lotus leaves and you can get them at the Asian grocery store in big packages like these. I think that there's about like 20 leaves inside and it really costs about like $4 and they're super, super fragrant. So they actually unravel into one big circle and you're gonna be cutting it half afterwards. But what you wanna remember is to cut off the center because the center is really where it's tough and then you can't really fold it. So I'm just gonna dunk it into a big tub of water and you can see that I can actually fold it a little bit, like it doesn't crack too easily. I placed a weight on top of it and these guys need to be soaked for about an hour, so just put those aside. Meanwhile, I've soaked 1.5 cups of short grain sticky rice with 1/2 cup of long grain rice overnight, and I'm just gonna cook that with about 1 cup of water. And it's good to have that kind of combination because sometimes all sticky rice, it gets a little too sticky and a little bit too soft, so it's nice to have that added texture from the long grain. So just cook that, put that aside, and then now we're gonna create the marinade for the chicken. So I have 1 tablespoon of rice wine first, and then following that I have 1 tablespoon of a kind of like a light soy sauce. And then this is actually vegetarian oyster sauce. I'll put the link down below, but I've been really liking this lately. I think it's the perfect substitute to oyster sauce because it's a little bit sweet and it's obviously a little bit savory as well. And then afterwards, a tablespoon of sesame oil, so it's been really easy, a tablespoon of each. And then to that I'm going to add about 1/2 tablespoon of garlic just for extra flavor, and then 1 teaspoon of sugar just to kind of mellow everything out, and then 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. And what the cornstarch is going to do is, you know, as this cooks, it's going to create a nice thick sauce within the rice. And then also following that is 1 teaspoon of white pepper, and you're just going to whisk that all together. So next I have my kind of favorite chicken substitute. I would say you only need about 2 pieces per kind of lotus wrapped glutinous rice. So it's really however much you're planning to use, but for this we're going to do about 5, so about 10 pieces of chicken go in. And I also rehydrated some shiitake mushrooms just for a couple of hours and I'm squeezing the water out there. So 1 shiitake mushroom per kind of like lotus glutinous rice package. So I'm just putting that all in and then just mixing that around, and then you can just put that aside for about an hour, maybe 2 hours just to marinate. So now we're going to do the marinade for the rice, and I think sometimes people have a tendency to put too much soy sauce or too much oyster sauce in this mixture and it makes it too salty. And for me, I like when the chicken and kind of the mushrooms are kind of my salty element and the rice remains relatively, you know, okay neutral. So we put in a tablespoon of rice wine, a tablespoon of oyster sauce, some garlic powder, some sugar, about 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. Also go in a little bit of oil just to keep the rice from sticking together. And then this is 1/8 cup of that shiitake mushroom liquid because sometimes that just really helps to kind of break apart this sticky rice. So after that is all done, you want to just put in all of your rice, and it really helped that we use a little bit of the long grain because it helps to keep this whole thing from being too sticky and then from being overly soft. So you just want to mix that around up until everything is just nicely coated, and then you can put that aside as well. So now onwards to assembly. So like I said before, each of these lotus leaves are actually one big circle, so you just want to cut them in half down the middle so that you have a nice half piece like this. And then afterwards take the other half and cut it in half one more time, because what you want is actually 2 layers for the sticky rice, because you can see that some of these lotus leaves have holes in between, so having 2 layers is going to be better as you steam it so that nothing really leaks out. So you just want to put that second layer down the middle, and then you want to take probably a handful of sticky rice and then just squish that down nice and flat so that you get a nice wide surface area. Afterwards, you just want to fill it up with your filling. So I put 1 kind of shiitake mushroom in each, and then 2 pieces of my faux chicken that has been marinated. And then this is actually beet sticks. So traditionally you'll put the Chinese red sausage in that's kind of a little bit sweet, and I thought that it would be perfect for the beets, but sometimes it does bleed through, so if you don't want to use beets, you can also use your favorite brand of vegan sausage as well. So again, I top it off just with a little bit of rice because you don't want to overstuff this. You want to just squish it down and make sure that everything, all of the filling is covered. And then just like a burrito, you're going to just wrap the middle part first so that, you know, there's an extra layer there, just like that. And then afterwards, for your second layer, you're just going to wrap it up one more time, exactly the same way. So as you do this, you're gonna realize that sometimes you don't really need the full half. Like maybe if you have too much of the leaf, you can actually trim that a little bit. So afterwards, these go into a steamer basket, and I found that I could basically make about 5 using this recipe. So just remember to not overfill it with rice or anything. So 5 go in, and then I have the heat already on medium high. It's on a nice boil already because I want everything to permeate through. And then this is gonna steam for about 20 minutes. Everything's already cooked, but what that steaming is gonna do is really gonna infuse that rice with that really good lotus flavor, and you can definitely smell it throughout the house. So it's best to really just eat it right away while it's nice and hot, and I was having a really hard time to kind of unravel this because the rice inside was so hot already. Come on guys, get that open. So you can see how nice that looks, and I mean, I wish that you guys could smell this because that's really kind of the star of this is the Lotus perfumed rice. And you can see the nice chunks of like shiitake mushrooms and also our faux chicken, and then also a little bit of that beet bled through. But again, you can use beets if you want, and if you don't want to, just substitute it with your favorite brand of sausage, and then you're basically all set. Anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed watching me make this recipe, and maybe you'll try it too. As usual, if you want to see more recipes like this, remember to hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you guys again next time. Bye!